What's going on, folks? It's Larry, Pack Masters Dog Training. I think this is video number 8, dog training talk. A couple things that I didn't mention, forgot to mention yesterday about my dogs and some of the things I see with people's dogs that I take into my home. We have to make our dogs tough. People have to toughen their dogs up. What do I mean by that? And it has nothing to do with fighting or defending themselves against other dogs. What I mean is you have to set your dogs up to be mentally stable, okay? I get so many dogs here that freak out when they're separated from their owners. That's a problem, guys. That's a problem. Things that I do with my dogs when they're young is, we talked about crate training. That's very important to me, but I use different crates. I use plastic crates. I use wire crates. I crate my dogs in different places. I'll crate them in the yard. I'll crate them in the garage. I'll crate them in different rooms. Another thing that people run into, and I've run into this problem before in some of my past dogs, because my dogs are never on leash. Some dogs that are always off leash have trouble going to the bathroom on leash. There's going to be times if you're traveling or your dog has to go somewhere and the dog has to be on leash, you have to at least get your dog used to being on a leash at times. So your dog should be comfortable off leash, but it should also be comfortable on leash. Okay, very important. As far as toughening your dog up, there's so many dogs out there that have trouble being separated, okay, from their owners at all. And every single time I work with a dog that has this issue, one of the first questions I ask someone, and it's always a yes, is, does your dog follow you all around the house? They're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I can't go anywhere. I can't go to the bathroom without the dog following me. I understand that, because if I allow it, my dogs will do that too, okay? My dogs love to watch me poop. I have no idea why. I mean, it must look awesome, all right? But all kidding aside, if I'm laying on the couch and I'm watching TV and I'm going to get up and go in the bathroom, or I'm going to go in the kitchen, or I'm going to go in the garage, whatever, what I do, if my dogs are laying down, even if I haven't put them in a down or asked them to do anything, I don't get up and just go, because what's going to happen is they're going to get up and just go. And then I have to correct them verbally and tell them, no, stay here, or put them back in a down. So what I do is, before I even get up, if my dogs are laying down, I tell the dog down, and then I get up and I go. The dog's already down, and I'm just reinforcing what he's doing. I don't use stay as a command. It makes no sense to me to use two commands for one behavior. In other words, if I tell my dog to sit, that's what he's supposed to do until released. If I tell my dog down, that's what he's supposed to do. I don't use stay like that. The times I do use stay is, let's say I'm going out the front door and I don't want them to follow me. Then I'll tell them, stay there. I don't care if they're down and sit and standing. That literally means stay there. If I'm going out of the garage and I don't want them coming out with me, I'll tell them stay there. So I do use stay, but as a literal command. Stay there. I don't care what you're doing, just stay there. Okay? But that's a big one. So some of you folks whose dogs are very weak-minded and suffer when they're away from you, start doing it in the home on a daily basis. Give yourself a little separation, okay? Not only with a crate, but, put a baby gate up and keep the dog in the next room. He could see you, but you need some separation inside your home. If a dog is allowed to follow your every single move, eventually, guys, that dog's going to start struggling a little bit, when you're not around. Another thing that I see people do is, when they get a puppy, a lot of times they'll, I get this from school teachers a lot. They'll wait and get the puppy when they're on summer break, because they're going to be home for 2 months. So they get to spend 2 months with this puppy 24/7, right? In theory, it's a good idea, because puppy needs a lot of attention. But you know what, folks? What happens? You get these people who get these puppies, and they're with them 24/7 for that 2 months. Then all of a sudden, it's time to go back to school, and they're no longer there. And the puppy's like, holy shit, what just happened? Their world is turned upside down. So this is just one example. I want to prepare the dogs when they're puppies for everything they're going to encounter as an adult. You have to do it, So there's a lot of hand contact. There's a lot of touching of the paws. There's a lot of touching the dog all over the place to get him used to being handled. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes in videos, you'll see me praising a dog and getting excited when they come to me, and you'll see me touching their head. I come over the top of their head, okay? I tell people all the time, don't pet a dog like that. Don't come over the top of the dog. It makes them very uncomfortable. I do that for a specific reason, okay? The reason I do it is when these dogs go back to their homes, people do that. Even though you tell them not to, you know, strangers, friends, neighbors, kids, they all do that. And what I want to do is I want to prepare the dog to get used to that hand coming to him in that fashion in a positive sense. Because I don't want the first time a dog sees a hand coming over the top like that coming from, you know, a 6-7-year-old kid. I don't want that. So you're always thinking ahead, always thinking of preparing the dog. Prepare the dog for everything they're going to see, okay? Everything they're going to see. Let's use Halo for an example. We just took Halo. You know, we trained him for a long time. We gave him to his new family. He's going to a place where it rains a lot, and it rains hard. A lot of dogs don't want to go out in the rain, right? So if I know I'm sending a dog to some place where it rains a lot, or with my own puppies, if I know it's going to be raining hard that day, what I'll do is I make sure they do their normal routine. They eat, they drink, they do all that stuff, but I'll make them hold it for a little longer and wait for the rain, okay? I'll make sure I know they have to go to the bathroom. It's time. It's time to go out. And when it's raining really hard, I go out there. Because the first reaction from a lot of dogs, especially young dogs, is they cringe and they don't want to be out in the rain. But I go out there and I make like it's no big deal, and I'm out in the rain with them. And as soon as they go to the bathroom, I make a big deal about it and we have a good time. And I do that every chance I get, so the dogs become just completely neutral to the rain. It doesn't matter. Another thing people do, some people, their dogs take a long time to go to the bathroom. They won't go to the bathroom. And then I ask them, you know, tell me everything you do. And their routine is pretty simple. When they take the dog out to go to the bathroom, as soon as the dog goes to the bathroom, they bring them back in. And a lot of people put their dog back in a crate, and then they're gone for the day. Here's the thing, guys. If every time your dog goes to the bathroom, it's brought back in and confined, what do you think that dog learns how to do? Going to the bathroom signals you're leaving, something the dogs don't like a lot, and I'm going to be locked up. Again, no fun in that, right? Don't do everything the same all the time. So when your dog goes to the bathroom, hang out a little bit, spend a little bit of time, do a little play session, then the mind starts changing. Going to the bathroom means now good things come. Maybe a little bit of food, maybe a little play, but don't rush your dog back in so fast all the time. Of course, there's going to be times where you got to go. The dog goes to the bathroom, you go back in, but you got to mix it up. You have to mix it up, okay? Another thing, I deal with a lot of dogs that have trouble in the car. They don't like it. They freak out. Same thing. When I interview people and I talk to people, it's almost always the same thing. As a matter of fact, I don't even ask. I tell them, I say, okay, so let me guess. The only time your dog gets in a car is when it goes to be boarded or goes to the vet. And a lot of times it's, yeah, that's it. Okay, so think about it. Dogs pick up everything we do. They know our routine. They know their routine much better than we do. So if every time you put your dog in a car, there's something unpleasant at the end of that trip, what do you think a dog's going to do? So from day one, guys, whether you get a puppy or you adopt an older dog, from day one, put your dog in the car, drive down the street 30 seconds if you have to. Take out and play with them. Feed them, play with them, have a good time, come home. That's it. 30 seconds, literally. Okay, and then the next day, maybe you do a minute. You drive down the road a minute, you get them out, you play with them, you feed them, you have a good time. Take them to the park, let them run around a little bit. But you understand what I'm saying here? Dogs pattern these things, and they start to know it very well. I'll give you an example again, how much they pay attention to what we do. And I've talked about this several times. I was having a conversation with my wife and kids several years ago. Renzo was real young, Sophia was young. I guess I was real young, I don't know. We had 4 dogs. Our female Dutch Shepherd had some medical issues, and every night I had to give her an estrogen pill. And I would put that little pill in a piece of cheese, and I'd give it to her, and all 3 other dogs would get a piece of cheese. And we're sitting there, my wife and kids are around the kitchen table, and I'm talking to them about how dogs pay attention to everything we do. Even when you think they're not, they're paying attention. And I said, let me show you an example. And all 4 dogs were sleeping. So this was great. The kids loved it. The wife was amazed. What I did was I went in the cabinet where I had our dog's pills, our vitamins, our supplements, all the other medication. You know, it was all in one cabinet in the kitchen. And what I did was I started picking up bottles, vitamins, different prescription pills. I started picking them and moving them around a little bit so the dogs could hear it. Nobody moved. All 4 dogs were still sleeping. Then I looked at my family and kind of gave them a head shake, and I picked up the bottle with the pills that we give the dog. As soon as I picked that bottle up, all 4 dogs jumped up, because that specific sound, they knew the sound of that bottle compared to all the other bottles, indicated that a piece of cheese was coming. Think about that. It's kind of crazy. My wife and kids were blown away. I said, you understand what I'm saying? These dogs understand us and what we do and our language a lot more than you will ever know. They pick up on everything. So you have to kind of prepare your dog, okay? If your dog struggles with certain things, go back and try to break down why. What is creating that? What is causing that? Because there is almost always something. Always. There's always something. I've never had a dog that was scared of storms, lightning, thunder, rain. I never have. I've never had a dog with separation anxiety, you know. My dogs don't like being boarded. They're pretty tight with me, you know, and I know they don't enjoy it, they don't like it, but they don't suffer either, you know, not from any kind of serious anxiety. So if your dog's dealing with an issue, think, you know, just ask yourself, have you prepared your dog for that situation? And it's never too late. You have to start doing it now. So start preparing your dog. All those little things make a difference. But one of the big ones, like I said earlier, people allow their dogs to follow them all over the house, and then they're surprised when they have trouble being separated. Start the separation in the house. Have the dog in one room, a baby gate up where he can see you, but you got to start. So if your dog does suffer from separation anxiety, you got to start doing those things. All right, folks? Talk to you in a while.